Welcome everybody, Film Fan went away here to my Blu-ray Pickups video for May of 2019. And I have a pretty good size stack to show off to you guys for the month. So let's get to it with the first title that I got, which is none other than Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, guys. Yes, the out of print title that I told you guys I got at the beginning of May, and this is a code red title right here. Now, this title is out of print. This title, now they're not making any more copies of it, and it sold out, and it sold out fast, and you're gonna find this title on eBay for 70, 80, 90, up to $100. And it's been a title that's been on my list for quite a while, guys. And they did have a couple extra copies at the Dark Force Entertainment website for a while whenever they would open up their store, and I tried picking a copy up and I was really unsuccessful. It went so quickly. And honestly, I even tried picking it up on eBay. There was a couple of times when I was talking to some of the people on eBay who had copies, and I was trying to bargain with them. I was trying to be like, hey, instead of charging like 70 or 80, is it okay to do like $50? I mean, I was even going there, and they're like, no, well, we have costs and we have to make our money back and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Make your money back? I mean, if you got this when it was originally released, you paid for it maybe 35, 40 bucks, your shipping costs and everything, and you're selling it for like up to $100, you're gonna make your money back even if you sell it for $50. But I think that's the problem with a lot of these scalpers on eBay's, guys, because I think a lot of these people really don't care about you as collectors. I think they care about more of the money, and that's just what they're using the collector base for now. Is basically like they know you want it, and in turn they're gonna charge a lot of money because they know that you're gonna pay for it. Well, I'm not paying those prices, guys. I wasn't willing to do it. So one night I was on Facebook, and I'm a part of a few really great movie groups, and one of them had this guy who was like, hey, I'm selling my used copy of Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, and does anybody interested, does anybody want it? And I'm like, hey, me. And um he was really nice about it. He charged me about $35, $40 for it, which, by the way, I was really happy about, guys. And usually I don't buy used DVDs and Blu-rays a lot of times. And the reason why is because I know that I take care of my stuff, but I can't guarantee that anybody else does the same. So I was a little hesitant about it being used and opened already, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a gamble because I doubt I'm going to see this again anytime soon. And thankfully, I pulled the trigger on it, and it came in great condition. The case is in pristine condition, man. The disc has no scratches, no like thumbprints on it or fingerprints or anything like that. Um, it came in great condition. It plays perfectly. He definitely took care of his Blu-rays in a big bad way, so I definitely appreciate that as well. Yeah, this was a great buy, and again, being out of print, it was definitely well worth it, guys. And to be honest with you, this is a really great movie as well. Not only is it a great buy for the collection, but it's a great movie as well. Basically, it's about this kid named Billy, and when he's a toddler, his parents end up dying in a car accident, and he ends up living with his aunt. And his aunt may or may not have had something to do with them getting killed. And now, many, many years later, he's now a teenager. He's ready to graduate high school and go to college. And his aunt does not want him to leave, guys. She is literally doing everything in her power to stop him. She does not want him leaving for college. She does not want him spending time with his girlfriend. Nothing. She wants him for herself. That's what she wants, and she will do anything to get it. She will drug him, she will kill people, she will manipulate situations, She is one evil bitch. I am not gonna lie, man. There are sometimes when you're watching this, you want to actually jump into the movie and just strangle this fucking woman. Like you're like she is like oh, like you really want to just like beat this chick up, man. And because she is just so evil. I'm telling you, and it's such a really well made movie because you get to know the characters, you get to know the situations. You're rooting for this woman to get her comeuppance, which she finally does at some point. It's just a well-rounded movie. I like the actors here. I thought they're doing a good job. I think Susan Tyrrell, who plays the crazy aunt, I think she does an awesome job. It's such a shame she's no longer with us, guys, but she is a really, really great actor. She plays a wonderful part in this as well. Yeah, everybody does a great job. Jimmy McNichol, who plays the lead kid in here, does a really great job as well. I really like it. It's a well told story, a well told horror thriller that I really do like, guys, quite a bit. And again, just for Susan Tyrrell's performance, because I have another movie with her in it called From a Whisper to a Scream, and she's great in that movie. Plays a small part. Here she plays a much bigger part and so effective, guys. She's really awesome in this movie. Just for her performance alone is definitely worth the price of at least trying to pick this up. So awesome here. And to be honest, a lot of really great features on this disc, guys. You have an audio commentary with the producer, writer, and co-writer, as well as moderated by Nathaniel Thompson. And this is a really great commentary. They're talking about the genesis of the project. They're talking about how they got the movie made, the working with the actors, the release of the film, what they think about it many years later. Very interesting commentary. You also get a commentary by star Jimmy McNichol, and he talks about working with the actors and how he got the role and, what his thoughts on being an actor are, and it's very interesting commentary. You also get the original theatrical trailer, on-camera interviews with the stars Jimmy McNichol, Susan Tyrrell, Stephen Easton, makeup artists and producers as well. And not bad interviews as well. Again, it's really great to see Susan Tyrrell doing an interview because shortly after I think she did the interview, she actually passed away, which was a real shame. But yeah, she's an actress that really goes for it, her performance, and man, I would have loved to see her do more work. She'll definitely be missed in a big bad way, guys. And you also get here a reversible wrap on the cover as well on the other side here with a different title for the movie called Night Warning right there, guys. Not bad, but I'm going to stick with the Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker one because I think that's classy and I like that a little bit more. But if you guys can definitely find the title and check the movie out, definitely do it. It is a really good movie, guys. Well done horror thriller. And again, it's going for big money on eBay. I suggest you do not pay those prices, guys, but I will suggest trying to look up the movie and watch it because it really is a good movie. And for all you horror fans out there, it's at least worth a watch, guys. Not too bad. Especially for the collection, another out-of-print title, not too shabby. Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker. And the next title that I picked up, guys, is a Kino Lorber release, and it's Kino's actually first ever 4K Ultra HD title, and that is none other than Hannibal right here, guys, with this really great slipcover here, and on the inside, the same artwork as well right there. Not bad. And I saw this movie in the theaters with my mother back in 2001, guys. Yes, my mother being a horror movie lover, of course she got me into it as well, and we went to some really great movies back in the day, some really great horror stuff, and Hannibal was one of those movies, guys. And I remember back when this was getting released, there was a lot of hype for this movie. It was sort of the return of Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal, and people were very curious about how it was going to be. And, there was a lot of mixed opinions about this movie when it came out then. A lot of people loved Silence of the Lambs. They still do to this day. And a lot of people really put a lot of expectations on this movie that I feel like maybe it didn't exactly need or didn't exactly deserve. And I think many years later, I think a lot of people have reevaluated this film, especially with a lot of other Hannibal Lecter content that's come out over the years. And I think there's a lot more better opinions of this movie now than it was back then. I still remember people really liking it, but I think a lot of people were more lukewarm about it. But it's a really great movie about Hannibal Lecter many, many years later after escaping from the first movie, living his life, and Clarice Starling, who is still obsessed with him, and they end up playing this sort of cat and mouse game of like trying to like her trying to capture him and him trying to escape and him still being obsessed with her, and sort of this sort of like back and forth, I'm obsessed with you, temptation, kind of thing. I really like this one a lot, guys. I really honestly do. I liked it back in 2001, and I like it again here as well. I think Anthony Hopkins still hits it out of the park as Hannibal Lecter, man. I mean, even years later after Silence of the Lambs, he still knows how to play the character. He still plays it in a very menacing way, in a charming but sinister way as well. Does a really great job here. You also have Julianne Moore playing Clarice Starling. Now, of course, Jodie Foster played it in Silence of the Lambs. And I know a lot of people were upset about that at the time. And I think it was a contractual thing. I think that basically Jodie Foster, they didn't pay her enough money or something like that. It was all a big to-do at the time. Julianne Moore still does a great job, but this is a very different Clarice Starling compared to Silence of the Lambs. She's more hardened. She's more like tired and weathered. She's somebody who's been through the ringer a bunch of times, and I like this version of Clarice. I like a more like just somebody who is just tired and somebody who is not the innocent person that they were back in the day. I like that quite a bit. I like her portrayal here. Like I said, I like Anthony Hopkins quite a bit. And the movie's directed by Ridley Scott. And Ridley Scott does a great job here. I mean, he's no Jonathan Demme who did Silence of the Lambs, but he's still a great director in his own right. And he did something very unique here, taking elements from Silence of the Lambs, making it his own, but yet really still being true to the character of Hannibal and Clarice. I thought it worked really, really well. I like the thriller aspect to it. I like the blood and gore here as well. Especially there's a dinner scene, and I won't spoil it because it's so damn good. There's a dinner scene here, and let's just say that there is something extra special on the menu. And I remember seeing that scene in 2001, and everybody in the theater was like, "Oh! Oh no, he did!" Like I was like, that was great, guys. I still remember that, man. That's great, dude. It was really fun, man, and the movie is still a thrill to this day. I just recently watched it, and man, I loved it, dude. Still a really worthy sequel. And it's one of the worthy sequels that I feel like, again, people appreciate it now more than they did back in the day. But I think it's great, man. I think it belongs right up there with Silence of the Lambs. I really honestly do, man. And a lot of the same stuff got ported over from the DVD and Blu-ray. You have audio commentary by Ridley Scott. You have Breaking the Silence, The Making of Hannibal, including rare footage and interviews. Anatomy of a Shootout. You have an exploration of the film's opening title design, alternate ending with optional director commentary, over 33 minutes of deleted and alternate scenes with optional director commentary, TV spots, theatrical trailers, teasers, and so much more. There's a lot jam-packed in here. I used to actually have the DVD, and this is definitely an upgrade, guys. Now, I will also say this much. This is Kino Lorber's first not first Blu-ray, first 4K title, and it's going to be their last, at least for the time being. They rolled this out, and they were really hoping the sales were going to be really good on this, and the sales ended up being very bad. They weren't very good on this title at all. And they were going to announce another 4K title, which was supposed to be Valkyrie with Tom Cruise. And basically they scrapped it. They scrapped all those plans because this was such a low-selling title that they felt like it wasn't worth it to keep on investing in 4K and the cost of that if this wasn't going to sell. So this may be Kino's first and only 4K title. This might become a very rare title, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so glad I got this in the collection, and my friend John also picked it up too, because we both realized this is going to be a very, very sought-after title years from now, and I'm so happy to finally have this, because, again, I love the movie, and you know, I'm gonna watch it, but just the fact that this is gonna be sought after over time, and this is gonna be a title that I think eBay scalpers will put a lot of money on years from now. So if you guys really love Hannibal, if you really love this title, or if you love Kino Lorber in 4K, definitely get up on this. This may be their only 4K release they will ever do, guys. So definitely get up on that. But I love the movie, man, and so many great special features. And for the price, it was honestly worth it, guys. If you love Hannibal Lecter, definitely give this a whirl. Hannibal. Then the next title that I picked up is a Severin release, guys. Oh, I love my Severin. They always do a pretty damn good job, and this is no exception. You have Emmanuel and Francois right here with this really great slipcover here. I'll kind of show you. They're sort of tempting him with him all tied up like that. Always a very interesting slipcover. On the backside, of course, him in a painting butchering the girl. And the same is actually on the inside here with another title for the movie called Blood Vengeance right here, guys. Very interesting as well. And this is a very interesting title, man. Basically, it's about this guy who is in a relationship with this woman, and he is very much neglecting this woman. He is using her for sex, and he's having other people use her for sex, and he's using her for money, and he's cheating on her, and this guy's a real scumbag. And eventually one day this woman becomes so depressed and just so tired of her life that she commits suicide. And you know, this guy just is like, he moves on with his life, he could care less. And this woman comes along, and really a gorgeous looking woman, and somebody that this guy really wants to get with. And she manipulates him to the point where she ends up basically locking him up in this room, and basically finding out that this woman is actually the sister of the girl that actually committed suicide, and she is taking revenge on this guy and basically tempting him by being nude in front of him, eating food while he's starving, basically torturing this guy. And it's that journey that this guy takes with being tied up and tortured and captured and everything. And it's a really interesting movie, man. Severin always puts out these titles where I never hear of them, but when I watch them, I'm always like, damn, man, I'm surprised I never heard of this title. Very interesting sort of manipulation type of movie. I love the performances here. I think George Eastman does a really great job here, man. All of the actresses do. It's basically, it's about females taking revenge, empowerment, you know, talking about, you know, how women manipulate men for sex, and how the other way around as well. It's a very interesting movie, man, with a lot of layers to it, and I thought it was very well done, man. It is foreign language, but you can also get like an English dubbing in it as well. But man, it's a really interesting movie that I was not expecting to really love. But like I said, I love the manipulation of the woman to the guy, and how she played him like he played her sister, and just like the back and forth game of it. I thought it was really well done, guys. I really did. I quite like this title a lot, actually. And Severin did a great job here, man. I mean, you really did. You get here, Three Women and a Mirror interview with one of the main actresses, and she talks about working with Joe D'Amato, who also directed this, working with the actors, being nude on camera. You also get the other side of the mirror with an interview with actor George Eastman, and he does a great job here as well, man. He's always a great interviewee, because he's done a lot of really great interviews where he talks about the women, and how good looking they were, and how he was younger back in the day, and he was kind of like a swinger. Very cool stuff. He's always a great interview guy. You also get deleted and alternate scenes and trailer. A really great movie, guys. I was honestly really shocked by this one. I thought it was really well done here, and you know, again, I'm slowly getting into more Joe D'Amato movies. I'm not. At first, I wasn't always big into getting into Joe D'Amato, but I'm doing it more and more, and I'm finding a lot of more gems by Joe D'Amato, especially the ones that Severin is releasing. and this is no exception, man. Really worthy title to check out, man. Especially if you like manipulation stuff with like sort of this sort of back and forth game, but between men and women and how they manipulate each other like sexually and everything. Very fascinating stuff, man. I really did enjoy it quite a bit. And again, I gotta love that artwork there. Very cool stuff, guys. Not bad. Emmanuel and Francois. Then the next title I picked up is another Severin title. I do like a good women prison movie. I've shown you guys that in the past in other Blu-ray pickup videos, and this one is no exception. Escape from Women's Prison right here, guys. Not bad indeed right here. I like the artwork right there. Really tough women right there, man. Really tough. And I really, man, you know what? This is another one that, again, when they announced this, came in like a package deal with like Emmanuel and Francois. And I wanted to check it out because I was like, okay, this looks really cool, interesting. I got to give this a look and check it out. And oh man, you know what? This is really interesting because it's basically about this group of women that escapes this prison, and they end up actually holding hostage this tennis team. And it's all about them manipulating them and having sex with them and forcing them to kill and everything like that. And I really love this movie, man. I always love a good women in prison movie or women escaping prison. I've always kind of been fascinated by that. I like really hardened criminals and women on the run, and this is definitely one of those titles. It's definitely a low budget movie, guys. I mean, you can kind of tell with the way the movie looks and the acting and everything. I mean, it's not anything expertly done, but it's a women in prison movie. I mean, come on, guys. I wasn't expecting like it to be the greatest thing in the world. But honestly, this was a really fun title, guys. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. There's a lot of like Marxism here and murder and lesbianism, and it's just one of those titles that back in the day of like, oh, these women and the danger of them manipulating these people into doing evil things, and I really enjoy that, guys. I really honestly do. I thought this was really fun. And I thought the performances are sort of B movie wild and crazy, but again, it was really a fun time, and I had a fun time watching it for sure, guys. Not bad here, and you get the Italian cut with Italian audio with English subtitles, which is a little bit different, but not too much different. But again, it's more of the Italian cut. It's nice to have the two different cuts of the movie. I prefer the regular cut of it compared to the Italian cut. It's slightly different, but not too much different, I would say. You also get Freedom, Sex, and Violent interview with the director here, and he really loves talking about this movie. He loves talking about making it. He loves talking about the actors and what they had to go through with shooting the movie. He really is a fun interview, guys. I mean, it's all in subtitles, so it's a little hard to understand at times unless you're like paying attention to the screen constantly. But he definitely has a fun time talking about it, and he really remembers it in a really fond way. And you also get trailer as well, and not much else, but again, it's a violent babes in bondage movie, and you know what? I can't ask for anything better. I love these type of movies. They are in the collection, and it's nice to add another one to the list, guys. Not half bad here, and I love that cover art. Very cool stuff here, guys. Definitely check this out if you haven't. If you like women in prison movies like I do, definitely give it a go. Not too bad. Escape from Women's Prison. And the next title that I picked up, guys, is a Blu-ray from Umbrella Entertainment, and that is none other than Crawl right here, baby. Yeah. God, I love that artwork, man. Very classy, really cool artwork from back in the day. I love theatrical artwork, and this is no exception, man. This thing is awesome, dude. Love that one. And on the back side here, you have some artwork as well. Very nice there, too. And I watched Crawl back in the day when I was a kid, man, and goddamn did I love Crawl, man. What a fucking cool movie this was back in the day to watch when you were a kid, dude. Love this one so much. Basically, it's about these two, a prince and a princess who will marry, and then there's sort of evil that strikes, and he just barely escapes with his life. She gets captured, and he needs to basically rescue her. And he needs to find this powerful weapon and join up with this ragtag group of people and sort of save the day, so to speak. And goddamn, man, did I just have a ball watching this movie, dude. I hadn't watched it in a long time. And when Umbrella announced it, I was like, dude, I gotta watch this sucker. I gotta watch this because I haven't watched this in so goddamn long. And it was so fun, man. You know, I like a lot of those old school sci-fi fantasy movies back in the day, and they just don't make them like this anymore. I hate to say it, man, but you know, a lot of times, you know, you'll hear like us old curmudgeons say like, "Well, back in my day," you know, but it really is true because it really this man just is so great, dude. It really is, and I just had a fucking ball with this movie, and it's so goddamn fun, and it's basically your typical sword and sorcery, you know, just evil and good triumphing over evil, and you know you have just cool little creatures, and you have like Cyclops and like just and magic, and it just really is one of those movies. It goes along with something like Willow and some of those other ones from back in the day where you just are like, it just opens up your mind and imagination as a kid. And I mean, it's not the best sword and sorcery movie that you'll ever see in your life, but to be honest with you, I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for a good time, and this is definitely a good time, and all the actors do a great job. I mean, hell, you have a young Liam Neeson in here, man, who does a really good job as well. I just really, I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I was worried that basically when I was a kid, I had rose-colored glasses on, and I was like, oh, hey, when you're a kid, you'll like anything. And rewatching it, man, just was like, you know what, dude? This is really fun, and it's just as good as when I remember it as a kid. And damn, I'm so glad it is because I had a fucking ball watching this, dude. It really is a great sort of magic, sort of sorcery fantasy film that you guys definitely have to experience. I think your kids should definitely experience too. It's definitely a really great one to check out, guys. Honestly, it really is. And Umbrella Entertainment did give it some good love, guys. You have here, you have a cast and crew audio commentary, you have a behind the scenes commentary, really cool stuff here, man. Of course, talking about, you know, the making of it, talking about all the difficulties they had to go through, and the camaraderie on the set, and the release of it, and what they think years later. Really cool stuff, guys. You also get here Journey to Crawl featurette, basically talking about the making of the movie as well here. And you also have a Marvel Comics adaptation and a trailer here. This is a really fun movie, man. And it's kind of a shame that they never really made a sequel to it, because I would have loved to see a sequel. It's kind of like, you know, another one that I was really thinking of that reminds me, like another good, really, like, sci-fi fantasy one is Legend. I think if you were to do, like, Willow, Crawl, and Legend, that's like a really cool, like, triple feature to, like, watch and sit at home, man. And yeah, this definitely belongs in there. It's really cool fantasy, man, that I think the whole family can enjoy. I really do. I think it's really cheesy, cool fantasy fun. I like it quite a bit. Crawl. Then the next title that I picked up is a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital, a new release from last month, a sequel, no less, and that is none other than Happy Death Day to You, right here, guys. And of course, the really cool slipcover right here that they have, and the same artwork on the inside as well. Not bad there. And oh man, okay, guys, a sequel. A PG-13 horror sequel to a PG-13 horror film. Now, I've said it to you guys before, and it really is honestly true here, that I think the first Happy Death Day is a really great, solid horror film. Not only is it a really great, solid horror film, but it's a really great, solid PG-13 horror film. And I feel like a lot of people shit on PG-13, and I can't say I blame you guys because there's a lot of really bad PG-13 out there. I mean, there's really bad ones, dude. I mean, it's just a lot of. I mean, there's so much littered garbage of PG-13 out there that whenever there's a good one, I feel like you really gotta like hold it up and you really gotta say this is the standard because there's a lot of them that are just not that great and just sort of kill a lot of people's expectation of how a PG-13 film could be. But I really loved it, and when I heard they were doing a sequel, I was anticipating it because I thought this is a really interesting one, guys, and one that I wanted to check out because I wanted to see what they would do with a sequel to a movie that didn't necessarily need a sequel, but could go in very interesting directions if they did do one. And basically, it's about Tree and how she gets sucked back into doing the same day over and over again and just having to figure out, who the killer is again and how things are slightly different and slightly skewed from the last time she dealt with this. I think it delves more into the characters. I think it delves more into sci-fi territory. It's still Groundhog's Day, but it delves into a little bit more sci-fi aspect of it. I think it goes into more Back to the Future realm, I would say, than anything else. I really do like that quite a bit, guys. I like that it goes more sci-fi-ish. I know I know people were a little put off by that. I think when people like horror, I think they like horror. They don't like mixing genres up. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them mixing it up a little bit. And with this one, I'm okay with them doing it, guys, because honestly, you know, the first Happy Death Day is so unique that you have this idea of Groundhog's Day meets sort of a slasher movie, and do you want to do the same thing over again, or do you want to do something a little bit different, a little bit more unique for a sequel? And I like that they went a little bit more different, a little more outside the box, doing sort of a Back to the Future idea with it, and combining that again with the Groundhog's Day and the slasher stuff. I thought it worked. I thought it worked really well, guys. I honestly did. And again, I really still like the characters. I still like the character of Tree. I think she's still a very likable character. I think the movie's funny. I think the kills are really cool. Again, PG-13, so you don't get a lot of blood and everything, but I think that's okay because again, if the way you shoot the kill scenes are unique, then you don't need a lot of blood. You can still get the brutality out of it, and I feel they do that pretty well. I think it's a really solid sequel. I don't think it's as good as the first film. I don't, but I don't think it needed to be either. I thought it was a really solid horror PG-13 sequel that that I think improves upon the narrative of the first film. It expands it. It expands the characters. It expands the story. I think it tells a lot of really cool stuff. And again, going with lower expectations because again, it's not as good as that first movie. But I don't think it was ever trying to be. I think it was just trying to be a little bit more unique and interesting and something slightly different than its counterpart. But I thought it was really cool, guys, and definitely a worthy sequel in my mind. But yeah, I definitely did enjoy it quite a bit. You get a gag reel and deleted scenes and a couple of featurettes, The Neverending Birthday, Web of Love, Tree's Nightmare, and Multiverse 101. God, I wish we would have gotten a commentary here, or just more of a like making of documentary. I really wish we would have gotten more special features here, guys. I wanted a little bit more. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, and I know that they were planning on a third film. The unfortunate thing is this movie didn't make a lot of money at the box office, so unfortunately, the idea for a third film got scrapped. So we're not getting a trilogy here. We're only getting Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. Um, I like the idea of where they were going with a third film, but I also kind of feel like, guys, to be perfectly honest with you, that I'm okay if they don't make a third one because I kind of feel it's pretty wrapped up pretty well in the second film here, that you can just end the second film and you won't be disappointed. So even though I'm a little sad we're not going to get a third film, I'm okay with it because I think it wraps up pretty well in this one. So, truth be told, I'm okay if it ends here, guys. But, again, I think it's a worthy sequel. Not as good as that first film, but sometimes horror sequels rarely are. But still, a pretty decent film and well worth your time to check out, guys. Happy Death Day to you. Then the next title I picked up is another new release, and that is the Blu-ray, DVD, and digital of Fighting with My Family right here, guys, with the slipcover right here and the same artwork right on the inside as well. Nothing too different there. And I saw this in the theater, man, and goddamn did I enjoy it. Now, I am an old school fan of wrestling. I haven't watched it since about 2001, 2002, around there. I watched it from 1985 to 2001, man. And goddamn was I a huge fan, dude. I bought the books, I bought the magazines, I bought the action figures. Man, I went to wrestling shows. I mean, I did it all, dude. As a wrestling fan, I was hardcore, man, back in the day. And I saw wrestling going in a direction that I wasn't liking it anymore. I didn't really like some of the personalities anymore. I didn't like the fact that it wasn't about the wrestling anymore. They were just hitting themselves with chairs and doing way extreme stuff, and it wasn't about the technique of wrestling anymore. It was something different that I wasn't really a fan of. And I left, and I never really looked back. And I've always still been a fan of wrestling, and always still been somebody who still finds it very unique, and I get why people love it so much. And I I was curious about this one because when I saw the trailers, I was like, this really feels like something that me, as an old school wrestling fan, would really love. And so I took a gamble on it, and man, it did not disappoint. It's basically based on this true story of this woman, Paige, who comes from a wrestling family and works her way up to becoming one of the top sort of female wrestlers in the WWE. And I really enjoyed this one quite a bit, guys. I really honestly did. I thought the story was really great. I liked her journey and her struggles and sort of the family dynamic that she had. And I thought it was a really interesting sort of true life tale that they brought to the screen. And I just really thought it was really fun and really enjoyable. I liked the wrestling in it a lot. I thought it was very well made, guys. And as somebody who's an old school wrestling fan, it reminds me of a lot of just really great stuff from back in the day that I love. It reminds me of the old school wrestling stuff, and it reminds me of my love for wrestling that I used to have. And it almost makes me want to check out wrestling again, crazy enough. It really, if you're a wrestling fan, this is something that you gotta watch. If you're a fan of this woman's story, then it's really fascinating to delve into that. And you've got some really great people in here. You've got The Rock, who does a really great job in here. Small role, but really great. Vince Vaughn does a really great job as the wrestling trainer, who he has some dramatic moments, he has some comedic moments. He does a great job here. You have Nick Frost here, who, come on, Nick Frost is awesome. He does a great job here as well. Lena Headey does a really great job here as well. Florence Pugh, who plays the main lead here, she does a great job as well. Everybody really hits it out of the park, man. Does a really great job here. It really is a very great, wonderful, you're gonna stand up and root for the underdog type of movie. Man, this one, I was hoping it was gonna be good, and it didn't disappoint, and I was so happy it didn't, guys. Really well done here, guys. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. Definitely worth it if you are a fan of wrestling or sports movies, because I consider wrestling a sport. I really do. So this one is definitely worth checking out, guys. And you have deleted and extended scenes, a gag reel, a family's passion, a making of, learning the moves, and feature commentary from the writer-director Stephen Merchant. A lot of really great stuff, delving into, again, the making of it, the family dynamic, the differences between the screen and how it is in real life for this family. And I really love the commentary with the writer-director Stephen Merchant, who really talks about how The Rock really brought him this idea, and really something that he developed once The Rock brought it to him. And actually, him and The Rock actually worked together previously on the comedy The Tooth Fairy. Okay, that's not a good movie, guys. I'm not gonna lie, that movie's shit. But he redeemed himself with this one, guys. And it was a really great commentary. And this also has the director's cut too. And I want to tell you guys that the director's cut, there's not really much of a director's cut here. The director's cut here is minimal. So when it's a director's cut, it's very like it's by like seconds. It's not really by much, guys. I would stick with the theatrical version if I were you. I think it's still the better version here. You can watch the director's cut, but really it's only a matter of like a minute or seconds out of the movie. That's it, which really isn't much at all. So stick to the theatrical version. But outside of that, guys, it's a really great wrestling comedy. And there's been some really good wrestling comedies in the past. There's been ones like Ready to Rumble and a few other ones, which weren't great, but this is a really good one, guys. And definitely, honestly, well worth you guys checking out. So give it a look. I think you guys will not be disappointed. Fighting with my family. And the next pickup that I got, guys, is a Best Buy exclusive steelbook that I got. Well, I love the movie, but I know you guys are really gonna get on my ass for this one. And that is Godzilla 1998, guys. Yes, 1998. I know, you guys are thinking, really? He got the 98 Godzilla. Yes, I got the 98 Godzilla, guys. Now look, okay? I am an unabashed fan of the 98 Godzilla here. I am. I saw it in the movie theater, and at the time when I saw it, okay, to be fair, at the time when I saw this 98 Godzilla film, I was not really a fan of Godzilla in the fact that I had seen a lot of Godzilla stuff. I had heard of Godzilla. I had heard of the character. I had heard of the other movies, but not really watched a lot of it at the time. And watching this Godzilla film in the theater, it was fun, guys. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed sort of the quirky comedy. I enjoyed the action. I thought it was a fun time in the theater. And at that time, Roland Emmerich, dude, was like Roland motherfucking Emmerich, dude. This guy was like the guy of event movies. Universal Soldier, Stargate, fucking Independence Day, man. You were like a Roland Emmerich film was an event movie. You went to go see a fucking Roland Emmerich movie, man. You got to remember that, guys. Back in the day, it was like, man, Roland Emmerich's directing this? Get my ass at the fucking theater, dude. I'm seeing this shit. Like that's what it was like. And honestly, when I watched more Godzilla stuff over the years, I started to realize that this movie is not really as close to Godzilla as maybe it should be. The design of Godzilla is kind of, well, crappy. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bad. And overall, the movie is very different than a lot of other Godzilla iterations. And I feel like over the years, people really don't like this movie, man. They really hate this movie. This is one where people like, whenever you say to people, yeah, the 98 Godzilla, man, they tear you a new asshole. And I kind of feel like I'm going to be torn a new asshole here, guys. But to be fair, man, I just, rewatching it, I still enjoy it, dude. I still enjoy it so much, man. I really honestly do. It's still a ball to watch. And yeah, the effects are very dated. And yeah, the design of Godzilla really blows. But I really still like the characters. I like the quirky comedy. I think the action is still cool to this day. I think Matthew Broderick is a cool leading man. And by the way, just think to yourself right now, because, in a million years, would you ever think you put Godzilla together and Matthew Broderick as the lead? That is like really weird, guys. Like, that's something you rarely ever see, man. And I kind of like the fact that Matthew Broderick is playing this sort of geeky science guy. He's not playing this sort of like I'm a tough badass motherfucker. Like he's not doing that. I like that. I like him playing the geeky guy because that's something I can relate to be honest with you. I like that quite a bit, man. Like I said, I think it still holds up. I actually the best sequence to me, guys, still to this day is I really love that sequence in the stadium where they're being hunted by the little Godzillas. I still think that's a really cool sequence, and I really love that. And I love the destruction because you have to remember again with Roland Emmerich. Roland Emmerich is like a big old destruction guy. He will blow up the fucking White House if it looks good to do. I mean, he'll do that. And I love him destroying all of sort of New York City, and I love sort of all of the classic stuff getting like destroyed, and it's basically a big old sort of destruction film, and I still dig it to this day, guys. I really honestly do. It kind of set up for a sequel, which we didn't get. Kind of glad we didn't get it. We only needed one of these things from Roland Emmerich, but you know, a lot of the Godzilla stuff that came after it, the 2014 Godzilla or the one that came out here, I think they're all right movies, but for some reason they're lacking the fun and the quirkiness that this one has, and it's hard to say what's better. If you want your Godzilla films super serious or you want them to be a fun, enjoyable time, for me, I want them to be fun and enjoyable, and I still dig this one to this day, guys. I really honestly do, not gonna lie. But this is a really cool Best Buy exclusive steelbook, and I usually don't get steelbooks, guys, but this one really hit me. I love the front part here, very cool. I love the back part here with Godzilla's foot and sort of the helicopters and everything. I really like that as well. And the picture quality looks great here as well, man. This is a really great 4K Ultra HD edition. They did a great job with the picture quality a lot, guys. And you get a lot of the same featurettes that got ported over from the DVD before. And there's nothing new here, unfortunately. You get the special effects commentary, you get a couple of featurettes, some trailers. There's really nothing really added on here, which I wish there was a retrospective making of. I wish there was another audio commentary. Unfortunately not, but it's definitely an upgrade for me. I used to have the DVD, so for me this is definitely an upgrade for sure. But I still enjoy it. I know you guys are gonna fucking kill me. I know you guys are gonna just beat me up in the comment section. But I'm telling you guys, I have a lot of love for it, and it's definitely a guilty pleasure. But it's one that I unapologetically like. So sorry guys, but it's in the collection now, and it's staying there. Godzilla, '98. Then, well, the steelbooks don't stop there because I also got the steelbook of Forrest Gump right here, guys. I got the Best Buy exclusive steelbook of Forrest Gump right here, and I really like this steelbook, man. This is a really nice one. I like Forrest right there on the bench with the feather right there, and on the backside you get the chocolates because life is like a box of chocolates. Yes, indeed it is, and yes, we got that. And this looks like a really nice steelbook, and you know, the movie came out in '94, man. I mean, and I don't know whether I saw this in the movie theater or not. I don't remember it exactly, which is kind of weird. I usually would remember it, but I don't in this instance. And, honestly, guys, to be fair here, rewatching the movie, and I watched it many, many, many years ago when I was a kid, man. Even if I didn't see it in the theater, my mother and father had the VHS. So, I mean, I would watch the VHS regardless. And again, rewatching it, it just still holds up to this day, man. It's such a really great sort of adventure going along with this guy who's a very simple guy and somebody who is sort of interacting with all these famous people over the course of the movie, and he goes on this adventure, whether it's going to war, whether it's just running, whether it's falling in love with this girl that he sort of goes in and out of his life, and that love never leaves him. It's just a really great sort of adventure with this guy going on in his life over the years. And Tom Hanks plays it so amazingly. I mean, he won an Academy Award for it, man. I mean, he was great. And he plays it really honest, very earnest, very genuine, very likable. And Tom Hanks, is just one of those actors that you just genuinely like. He's a likable guy. He's somebody who puts a lot of work into any role that he does, and this is no exception. He really plays Forrest in a really wonderful way. The movie's directed by Robert Zemeckis, who Robert Zemeckis, man, for me, back in the day, he was a great director, man. I mean, Used Cars, the Back to the Future trilogy, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump. I mean, he was a really great director, and he's done a few good movies since, but there's certain directors that they peak at a certain point, and I feel like Forrest Gump, with his sort of absolute peak moment, he still does a lot of great work, but I mean, this was sort of the pinnacle of his works. To me, it was. I still love a lot of Forrest's interactions, whether it's with Elvis or JFK. The Bubba Gump shrimp stuff I really like as well. The movie brings a smile to my face. It honestly does, and it's a really wonderful little movie that I think is worth you guys honestly checking out if you haven't. But this is a classic. Like, there's certain movies I've always said that are like movies are like must watches. Like, you must watch this, and Forrest Gump is a must watch. Like, it's one of those classic ones that if you don't watch this in your life, like, this is a bucket list. You have to watch this movie, and it's so fascinating, so interesting, and it's a great fucking movie, guys. It's a classic for a reason, and I really like this one quite a bit, guys. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of great features here, guys. You have an audio commentary here, which is a really great one by Robert Zemeckis, of course, talking about the movie and the genesis of it, working with Tom Hanks, creating the characters. You also have, a lot of really great featurettes, man. Stuff from back in the day, which was making of, to a lot of newer stuff now, talking about the old school effects and what it took to make them. They talk to a lot of the actors now. Like, they did a wonderful interview with the kid who played the younger Forrest Gump that's now a much older guy. He talks about, going into the military and working on the movie when he was younger, and how he got cast and how that influenced Tom Hanks. And there's a lot of really great featurettes here. Even featurettes talking about the music and how the music influenced the movie and the sequences so much. There's a lot of really great, wonderful making of stuff on this disc, man. This is like, if you are a fan of Forrest Gump, this is a must own, because there's so much information jam packed on this disc. It's a 2-disc set, and there's a second disc that is just for special features alone, and it is so fantastic, man. So wonderful making ofs. I'm a huge fan of special features and making of like documentaries and everything, and this definitely supplies my sort of fix in a big bad way, guys. It is so awesome here. Guys, this is a classic movie, and it really is worth your time to check this movie out. A lot of people don't like to go back to those older movies, but I'm telling you guys, there's certain movies out there that are ones where if you don't watch it, you're crazy, because there's a reason why certain movies influence, like, the world as much as they do. And Forrest Gump is one of those movies that invaded the pop culture, and something that, people sort of still reference to this day, like run, Forrest, run, people still do that to this day. This is one of those movies that is a fun time. You're gonna smile watching the movie, and you're just gonna have a good time. It's based off of a book, which I've never read the book, but I heard the book is very different from the actual movie, and I love the movie so much, I don't think I'd actually go back to reading the book. But to me, man, this is a classic that is a must-watch, guys. Definitely get up on this if you haven't. And the steelbook here is gorgeous. Love this one from Best Buy. Check the movie out. It's well worth your time. Forrest Gump. And the next pickup that I got, guys, is another movie from Severin Films. And it's actually a brand new movie that they ended up releasing, and it's called Saint Bernard right here, with this really interesting slipcover right here, guys. Really interesting, very bizarre. And then the main cover over here, right here for Saint Bernard, man. Yeah, very, very bizarre and weird cover, man. And it kind of goes with the bizarre and weird movie that this is. And, oh man, usually I can describe a plot to you guys in some way, shape, or form. I can't do it with this one. And it's not that I, just it's not that I'm not wanting to. It's that there really is not a plot to this movie. I'm not gonna lie here, guys. Basically, in a nutshell, I guess the best way I can say it is it's about this musical composer who loses his fucking mind and goes on this. The best way I can say is an acid trip of an adventure, and just all the weird and crazy and fucked up shit that happens along the way, man. That's the best thing I can say, man, because this thing goes batshit nuts, off the wall, ridiculous. It is just one of these movies where I think after you watch it, you sit there and you try to comprehend it the best you can, and even then you still can't fucking do it. And I still can't to this day. I know that I watched it. I know that I sat there and paid attention. But do I understand what I actually watched? No, I honestly don't, guys. This is really one bizarre, fucked up movie, man. This really is, dude. And again, I'm not trying to hate on the movie. I'm just saying, like, this is one of those movies where this is a complete descent into madness, and it's a descent into madness that really makes no fucking sense. Because, this movie is directed by Gabe Bartalos. Now, Gabe is somebody who is a special makeup effects artist, and he's done a lot of stuff for Frank Henenlotter, whether it's Basket Case 2 and 3, Frankenhooker, Brain Damage, stuff like that. He's also done a lot of other Hollywood films as well, doing makeup effects. And he's a really great makeup effects artist, and he's gotten into, obviously, the directing part of it. And, I'm a big fan of Frank Henenlotter. I love a lot of Frank Henenlotter's weird and bizarre stuff. It reminds me a lot of Terry Gilliam, a lot of his weird stuff. The thing about those movies and those directors is that their movies are, I guess the best way to say it is that even though they're weird and bizarre, they have a plot. They have characters. They have a story that somehow makes sense. There's weird and craziness that happens in it, but for some reason they're able to ground it with these characters and some sort of story arc that you can hold on to. And for some reason with this movie there is no fucking characters. I mean, there's characters, but there's nothing definitive. There's no story arc, there's no plot. It's just going from one sequence to the next of weird and bizarre shit. Whether it's a dead Saint Bernard on the road, whether it's this woman who is trying to rape this guy and just and trying to steal the Saint Bernard's head, or whether it's this monster that's yelling at him, or it's like some uncle of his that's trying to like molest him, or it's just one weird fucking thing after another, man. And I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know whether I really like this movie or not. I mean, it's one of those movies where, like I said, I like weird and bizarre shit. I've shown it in other pickup videos. I've done it. But this one, man, takes the cake, because I have never seen anything like Saint Bernard, man. I mean, at least with weird movies or fucked up movies like something like Irreversible, at least there's a plot there. I mean, it's fucked up, like even something like Solo or something. I mean, it's all fucked up. Like Faces of Death. Like weird shit, but there's a plot there. There's a plot that makes sense. There is no plot, guys. There's literally no fucking plot. I mean, there's a fucking turkey that has a harness on it with a fucking parachute that's flying down. Why? Who the fuck knows, man? I mean, this is one of those movies where I literally probably could have somebody sit down and watch this movie with me, and they literally would sit there and look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Like you have this in your collection? I mean, I have certain movies like that in the collection, guys. I honestly do. But this one, I think this is the most weirdest and bizarre movie that I have in the collection yet. I'm not gonna lie. This thing is so weird and so bizarre and so odd that um that I don't think a lot of people are really gonna like this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is one of those movies where it's gonna have a small niche fan base, and that's it. I don't think there's gonna be much love for this movie at all. I enjoyed watching the movie, but can I say I truly liked it? No, I can't say I truly liked it. It was a gamble. This was a blind buy. I will say this much. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna give the movie another chance or two, but this might be the first pickup, guys, that I might not keep in the collection. It's one that, like, when I watch a movie, I want to feel like I'm immersed in an experience, and this was definitely an experience. But there's nothing to grasp onto. There's no characters that I can connect with. There's no plot that I can follow. It's just a random set of events, and to me, it loses focus. It's not exactly the it's I mean the visual effects and the practical effects are amazing in the movie, but it doesn't make for a movie that makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make for a movie that is cohesive, and that's the problem. Again, great effects in it, but if you don't have a good plot, if you don't have good characters, if you don't have something to hang on to for an audience, you're gonna lose them, and this kind of lost me a little bit. Again, I'll give it another chance or two, but this is one where I honestly, ooh, this one is an oddity for sure, guys, and this is one where I can see why Severin released it, because I don't think many other companies would have released this, guys. Honestly, swear to God. It's an interesting movie for sure, but one that I don't know if a lot of people are really gonna like. Give a gamble to it, but I don't know, guys. You've also got on the back here, just like I said, that turkey hanging with the fucking parachute, guys. You got the fucking turkey hanging with the parachute, and here you get one special feature here, which is basically a short making of featurette, which basically is just Gabe Bartalos and the actors and everybody really talking about the experience of making this movie. And it's about 16 or 17 minutes long, and they talk about the effects and how stunning the effects are and how much work it took into making it. And I get all that, and it definitely shows it in a big bad way. But I think the problem that I have, guys, is that I don't think the movie is really all that good of a movie outside of the effects. I think that it's a movie that is an acid trip. It's a movie that if you were high, this would be a really fucking crazy wild experience. But again, it's not a great movie, and it's not something that I really loved enough to recommend to you guys. So, if you like these type of movies, maybe watch it, but I'm gonna say no on this one, guys. Again, I'm gonna give it another watch or two, but outside of that, I wasn't as much of a fan as I wanted to be. I love Gabe Bartalos and I love his effects, but outside of that, no. I gotta say no, guys, on this one. Hate to say it, but it's worthy at least for a Severin one, because Severin does some weird titles, and this is definitely part of that, guys, for sure. Yeah, give it a chance if you're into weird shit, but not much more than that, guys. Saint Bernard. Then the next title that I picked up is a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital upgrade in the collection, because I did have the DVD, and that is none other than Crank, baby. Crank. Now we end on a high note because I fucking love Crank, guys. I'm a huge goddamn fan of Crank. Now, when Crank came out, I don't know whether I saw Crank in the theater or whether I saw it on DVD. I mean, it really doesn't matter because when I saw Crank, I was fucking blown away, guys. I was like, this thing is a wild fucking experience, and I was like, I can't believe what I'm watching. This is fucking balls out, crazy, wild, with interesting characters and sort of a crazy plot that you just want to see what happens next. And this is one of those ones that for me is that, guys, it's really great. I mean, Jason Statham plays Chev Chelios, and he is in a really bad way with some of these mob guys, and they end up doing something to his heart where he has to be on an adrenaline rush constantly, or he is going to die. And so literally he needs to do really wild and crazy and just over the top stuff to keep his heart racing, or he will just drop dead. And I love the fuck out of this movie, guys. I just had a blast watching this movie the first time I watched it, and I was talking this movie up to anybody I could possibly do when I saw this movie. I remember being at work years ago and talking to people about this movie, and I'd say, Crank! You guys gotta watch Crank, and I would explain Crank to them, and they look at me like, what? Crank? Really? And I'm like, guys, watch it. You guys are gonna like it. And then I let them borrow the DVD, and then they were like, yo, this thing is crazy. This thing is insanity. Oh my god, man. This thing is nuts. And I said, yes, it's really cool. The action is really cool. Jason Statham is really going for it. He's really putting his body and everything on the line for this film, man. It's such a wild experience, man. He does a great job with this role. Everybody does, man. Dwight Yoakam is in this movie, man, and he's fucking awesome as this sort of demented doctor. He does a really great job in here as well, man. It's a wild, over-the-top action movie, and it's kind of weird because Jason Statham, before this movie came out, he was really being known as sort of the action guy. I am the action dude. I'm the new Stallone or new Schwarzenegger or whatever. And he did a lot of standard action stuff. I mean, Transporter and everything like that. But I think this is the movie, that made me fall in love with Jason Statham. And I think there's certain movies like that where you fall in love with certain people. Like, there's a certain movie that you're like, yeah, I know they're known for all this stuff, but it's this movie that I fall in love with. And this is the movie that I fell in love with big time, dude. I really love this one so much. I fell in love with this from the get-go, man. And this made me fall in love with Jason Statham. And, this movie's directed by Neville Dean and Taylor, and I remember just like watching this movie and just thinking, these guys are amazing, man. Whatever they do next, man, I definitely want to watch. And thankfully, it was the sequel, and that blew me away even more. And I feel like they're directors that had a lot of potential and didn't really do a lot with that potential. I felt like they fell down the rabbit hole of trying to one-up themselves or try to do weird stuff that didn't work, like Gamer. And unfortunately, there are a duo that's done a couple of really good things, but they're great, memorable things. But outside of that, it's kind of unfortunate. But this is a really great movie, dude. And it's a really great, solid action movie. It just balls out, crazy, wild ride that I really enjoy, guys. Jason Statham is awesome in it, and he's awesome in the sequel as well, guys. So awesome here. Definitely a worthy action movie. Crazy, balls out one to definitely watch, especially if you're a fan of Jason Statham. And the 4K Ultra HD edition does look good, guys. I mean, it doesn't look great. They could have cleaned it up a little bit better, but it's not bad. It's definitely an upgrade from the DVD that I did have in the collection. You get here the stunts of Crank, pushing Crank, Crank and Comic-Con, which is on the 4K only, and more stories from Crank, 4K only as well. Those are two 4K exclusives. The Comic-Con one is basically them Neville Dean and Taylor introducing the Comic-Con that they went to, introducing Crank and talking about the movie, that old school Comic-Con footage. And the stories from Crank is the guys years later Neville Dean and Taylor, Jason Statham, Efren Ramirez, whatnot, talking about their experiences with the movie, certain scenes that they did. It's kind of just them reminiscing about the movie, which is really nice stuff as well. Not everything from the DVD is ported over here, guys. There's a couple things that was not ported over, unfortunately. I would have also loved to seen a commentary here, which we didn't get. But overall, guys, I am really happy with this, and it's definitely a great upgrade for me. And it's a movie that I really love, dude, and I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that we get the sequel on 4K. I'm really hoping, man, because I really want that sequel on 4K. And I really want a third film. I've always talked about there's certain movies where I want a fucking trilogy, and Crank is one of them. And I feel like, do it, man. Do a Crank third film. Do another one, man, because Jason Statham is still the action guy. He's still popular. He's still in his prime. Do it. Get it done, because I really want that third fucking Crank movie. I want one more with Chev Chelios and the craziness that Jason Statham can provide. Give that to me, guys. Please do it. In the meantime, definitely keep a lookout for Crank. Watch it. Watch the sequel. They're really awesome action movies. Balls, craziness, but so enjoyable. Give it a look, guys. Not bad at all. Think you guys would really love it. Crank. Alright, everybody. That'll do it for the Blu-ray pickup video for May of 2019. And again, man, as you can see, there's some really cool selection that I got, man. You got the 4K upgrades. You got the exclusive steelbooks. You got the new releases. You've got some of the stuff from the independent studios as well, out-of-print titles. Some really cool selection that I got for the month, guys. And honestly, there was a lot of really great stuff that came out for the month of May. I mean, stuff that I didn't pick up. I know you guys pick up a lot of really great releases as well. Definitely let me know what you guys got up on. There was some good stuff this month for sure. And now, as far as June is concerned, I gotta tell you guys, there's a lot of really great stuff coming out for June. I mean, a lot of really cool stuff from the independent studios, Scream Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin Films, Scorpion Releasing, Mondo Macabro. A lot of really cool, unique, and older titles that are getting released, which you guys should definitely get up on. A lot of really great new releases that are just coming out. Some independent films that are getting love on physical media as well. There's some really great stuff coming out in June, and I'm picking up some really interesting titles, so you definitely will want to check out the next Blu-ray pickup video, because there is going to be a lot of really cool stuff that is hitting on physical media that I am definitely grabbing, and I think you guys will definitely love what I'm going to get. So definitely tune in then. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray pickup videos I do every single month. Check out the Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday videos I do, showing off all of the new releases and what is hitting store shelves. Check out the theatrical movie reviews I do with my friends, plus a lot of other content that's on the channel, whether it's movie hunting videos, whether it's movie discussion videos, and so much more that I do for the channel, guys. If you love what I do, movies, physical media, everything I talk about, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I do want to thank a lot of you subscribers out there, because you give me great comments, you give me great movie suggestions, you just love talking that back and forth about movies that really just make it worth it to interact with you guys, and I really love it so much. So thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it, and appreciate all the love that you give the channel. And keep up to date with everything I'm doing through Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. FilmFan108. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special videos and pictures I do from time to time on social media as well. Alright, guys, I will see you back next time for a brand new Blu-ray pickup video. Take care, everybody. Hope you got some good pickups, and go to your local stores and online and buy some good physical media, because there's some great titles out there to check out. Alright, take care, everybody, and happy hunting.